Gospel of the Lord.
Apprehend God in all things, for God is in all things. Every single creature is filled with God and is a book about God. Amen. Cindy and I live out in Forest Brook. For those of you guys know Forest Brook? Shout out Forest Brook. So we live out there, and that means that I drive up and down Kingston Pike from there to here a lot, probably about 20 times a week. And not gonna lie, I hate Kingston Pike. I hate driving on that road. It's just like crazy to me, except for these last few weeks. I've kind of even enjoyed it a little bit. And it's because, have you seen those banners outside? There's two outside of our church, and they're all over on that road on Kingston Pike from Forest Brook to here that say, love your neighbor. Have you seen those? Right? So I get to see every church, just about, on Kingston Pike, and all of the synagogues on Kingston Pike have that sign out front of their space. Isn't that great? Every single one. And so whenever these last few days I've been driving up and down Kingston Pike, it just makes me think of love your neighbor, love your neighbor, love your neighbor. And that's just a great thing to have in my mind. Because driving on Kingston Pike, I usually have lots of other things on my mind. And it's not loving my neighbor. So to have that visual has been huge. Huge. And it reminds me that love, when we live from that place of love, that place of receiving love and living out of love, it cuts across all denominational lines. It cuts across all religious lines. And as our song we just sang says, it cuts across race and gender and sexual identity, on and on and on. Love cuts across all that stuff. And when we can live from that place, when we can start life from love, the world's a better place. Life is better. Because loving your neighbor as yourself has an effect on the person loving, has an effect on the person receiving love, and has an effect on the people watching. Right? Thank you. Right. And I'm not telling you, as Carrie just suggested, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. We know this. Right? We do. It's deep within us. We know it. And as thank you to all the people who sent in stories throughout the week about loving your neighbor. We got a bunch of stories, and we put them on our social media. I think it might be on the website, but definitely on social media. And all of them cut across racial lines and gender lines, just what I was saying. And to say that love makes a huge difference. It makes such a huge difference that somehow or another, each one of us has to figure out a way to practice it. Because love is a practice, as well as a deep, deep, deep feeling energy. Love is something to do, to give away, in addition to receiving. And it's so important that you have to figure out ways to do it all the time. Right? And I've said this to you before, and then one of my favorite spiritual teachers taught me this. He said, love is so important, you have to do it. So start with the easiest place. Ideally, it's starting with yourself, but sometimes I know for me that's not the easiest place, because I don't love myself sometimes. But it's best if you can. Start there and then go out. And what he would say to me is, and if you can't love a person today, then love your dog. And if you can't love your dog, love your tree. And if you can't love your tree, come see me. No. Something's really going on. No. But it's so important. It's so important. You have to do it. And please, please, please don't start with the hardest person in the world. Don't start with somebody you don't like. You have to build up to that. But whatever you do, love, because it has an impact beyond you. Okay, so they say the proverbial they say that a picture's worth 1,000 words. One of the things that somebody sent in was this video that I'm about to show you. And I think this video is worth 1,000,000 words.
I'm Hank Bertelkamp. I'm 93 years old, and I use this walker because I have balance problems. Well, you'd be amazed when I enter a building through a door. They're quite heavy sometimes, and I can push with one arm, and then I have to hold balance with the other on the walker. The amazing thing is I never have to do that. People will come out of anywhere and open the door. They're acts of kindness and love, and I'll be honest, I have never had to open the door. The people show up, I don't know where, and open the door. So it's a small thing, but I think it's worth mentioning that people can do little things to help others all the time. God bless.
Amen.